Hi, I'm Brian, and this is Wilson. In this episode of the Great Show of Greyhounds, we're going to look into what happens next now that the state of Florida has voted to end greyhound racing. On November 6th of 2018, Election Day, the residents of the state of Florida voted on Amendment 13, which proposed a ban on wagering on dog racing. 5.4 million votes supporting the ban defeated 2.4 million opposing it. 11 of the 17 remaining greyhound tracks in the United States are located in Florida, meaning that it is likely that 2/3 of the active racing greyhound population in the U.S. is living in Florida and will be retiring over the next 2 years, as the ban does not go into effect until January 1st of 2021. It is estimated by the Florida Greyhound Association that there are several thousand racing dogs that will be affected by this decision and will be looking to be adopted into homes. Lobbying groups supporting the measure claim that the racing industry was abusive to the greyhounds, while breeders and trainers claimed dogs would not be able to perform athletically if they were being abused. They also pointed out that Amendment 13 did not outline a plan for what would happen to all of the greyhounds racing in Florida, nor funding for the transition of all of these dogs into retirement through greyhound adoption organizations. Okay, now this is what is key here to understand. The lobbying groups who supported this measure are just that. They're political lobbyists. Their purpose is to promote a political position. They are not necessarily animal welfare organizations. They most likely do not provide medical care or adoption services. They provide a political point of view. Once Election Day passes, they move on to their next project. Therefore, they will not be contributing financially to the massive retirement effort that is now beginning in Florida. Some people are upset about this, but it's necessary to understand that that is just not what they do. As for the breeders and trainers, they will obviously be putting their own money into this. But they're all going out of business. So, yeah, their revenue stream is drying up. It is going to be the nonprofit greyhound adoption organizations that are going to be paying a large part of the bill on this. There are around 100 or so groups that sided with the breeders and trainers, and they're the ones who are going to be placing all of these well-loved greyhounds into homes. Even though this is what they do, they will be fostering a much larger number of dogs than they would normally do in a year. That may become challenging financially to many of these groups. When a greyhound retires, they usually have dental work to clean their teeth, they get spayed or neutered, they have their vaccines updated, and they get microchips so that they can be identified if they get lost. This can cost an adoption group about $500 per dog. That does not include the additional expenses such as dog food or fuel for transportation. We could take a look at it this way. Suppose all of the water in the reservoir represented all of the racing greyhounds currently in Florida. All of the water coming out of the dam's outlet represents the normal rate of retirement of greyhounds. Now, the vote in Florida to end racing is like the decision to empty this reservoir. The Army Corps of Engineers would have to open the gate all the way to release all the water downstream. That community downstream represents all of the greyhound adoption groups across the United States. And right now, they are preparing for a flood. Now, it is not panic time. This is what they do, but they could use some help. Most likely they are in fundraising mode right now. Now, if you are interested in helping out, then I would recommend reaching out to your established greyhound adoption organization that you are familiar with. That way you can avoid any online scams or con artists. Ask if they are expecting to take in any Florida dogs and what help they anticipate needing. If you don't feel that you can afford to donate financially, you can always volunteer your time. Adoption groups may need people to help transport dogs, or they might need extra foster homes. And please be patient when waiting to hear back from a representative from one of those adoption groups, because they're all volunteers with their own full-time jobs. And this will allow you time to make sure that they are a 501c3 nonprofit organization that will use your financial contribution responsibly. This is Lily. She's a newly retired racing greyhound, and like many of them, they don't know how to do stairs. So in the next episode of The Great Show, I'm going to explain why that is, and we're going to teach her how to do them. A link to that episode as well as the previous can be found over here. Down in the bottom corner, you can find a link to subscribe to this YouTube channel. You can also follow us at Great Show on social media. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day.